Hi, welcome to week 8. Now that you've completed your e-learning module, our work in Camtasia is finished and we're going to turn to some different technologies, infographics and data visualizations. There are increasing amounts of data available to all organizations, colleges, universities, schools, hospitals, the military, businesses, nonprofits, you name it. But data is only valuable if we can communicate it effectively so that stakeholders can make sense of it and use it to make good decisions. In education, these decisions could include how much students are learning in a particular class, how well a particular intervention is working, the potential market for a new program, or how funds are being spent. Infographics like this one use color, icons, and other images to communicate data. They may consist of a single page or many pages. This infographic is intended to convey how many students around the world are not in school or not learning the skills they need for life and work. Of course, the same data probably exists in a traditional report with the data presented over several paragraphs and pages, perhaps with graphs and charts. Many people may not have time or want to read an entire report, but as you can see, an infographic like this can quickly communicate that same data in a way that can grab someone's attention. Data visualizations are used to, well, visualize data. In that way, they are similar to infographics. However, data visualizations typically take the form of a graph or other kind of chart, like this one. This data visualization is a graph illustrating the changes in the number of degrees earned by women and men at historically black colleges and universities in the United States between 1976 and 2001. It's a little bit difficult to see, but this top orange line shows that the number of women who earned bachelor's degrees increased significantly, while the blue line below it indicates that there was virtually no change in the number of bachelor's degrees earned by men during that same period. So you can see that while infographics and data visualization are both tools for communicating data, they do so in different ways. The infographic and data visualization I just showed you are static, which means that you cannot interact with them. But there are many infographics and data visualizations that you can interact with. I provided links to some of those in this week's learning materials. Some of them are amazing, so you should be sure to check those out. In weeks 9 and 10, you'll create an infographic or a data visualization to communicate data from the research you conducted in your needs assessment and research course. If you're not taking that course, you can use any data set you would like. Let me know if you need help finding one. In this week's assignments, you will compare and contrast infographics and data visualizations to help you decide which one you want to use. You will also evaluate static infographics to help you understand the qualities of effective ones. Speaking of those assignments, there are 4 assignments this week, which probably sounds like a lot, but don't worry. There are only a few required resources that you need to read or watch, and assignments 3 and 4 won't take much time. For assignment 1, your first step will be to compare and contrast infographics and data visualizations. Then find an example of an effective infographic and explain what makes it effective. The second step for assignment 1 will be to work with a small group to synthesize what you've learned. Please note that although assignment 1 is not due until Sunday, it requires that your group meet synchronously and that each person in your group complete the first part of the assignment before you meet. So I strongly encourage you to communicate with your group early this week so that you can get your group meeting scheduled. In assignment 2, you'll work individually to find new examples of infographics and evaluate them using a set of criteria. This will help you understand the qualities of an effective infographic so that if you decide to use one for your project, you'll be able to create one that is effective. In assignment 3, you'll decide whether you will create an infographic or data visualization to communicate the data from your research project or other data set, and then explain your decision. You'll upload your decision and explanation in a Word document in VoiceThread. For assignment 4, you will simply return to VoiceThread and consult with one classmate on their decision to use an infographic or data visualization. Completing this week's assignments will help you achieve this week's objectives, which are to compare and contrast infographics and data visualizations, determine whether an infographic or data visualization would be the best method for communicating a set of data, and evaluate infographics. There are many tools for creating infographics and data visualizations, and I've provided links to some of those in the Week 9 learning materials. Tools like Tableau and Flourish offer free plans that allow you to create impressive data visualizations. I've provided links to both of them in the Week 9 optional learning materials. Generally speaking, it will take longer to learn tools like Tableau or Flourish than to learn how to use a tool to create an infographic or how to build a simpler data visualization like a graph, which you can create in Excel. However, I don't want to discourage you. If you have time, I encourage you to check them out. If nothing else, just spend a little time on the Tableau and Flourish websites to get a sense for what you can do with them. I'm sure that you're already familiar with graphs as data visualization, so most of the guidance on creating visualizations is focused on graphs. One thing to keep in mind as you decide whether to create an infographic or visualization is that graphs are considered visualizations, but tables are not. If in weeks 9 and 10 you decide to create a data visualization, it must be a true visualization like a graph. It cannot be a table. We don't have time in this course to explore the ways in which you can make an infographic accessible, but there is a resource in this week's optional materials that describes how to do so. That's it for this week's introduction. Don't forget to consult the When Things Are Due page in this week's module, and remember to use this week's materials to help you prepare for this week's assignment. Be sure to review your work using the criteria for the assignments before you submit them. If you have any questions, please post them in this week's forum for questions, comments, and discoveries, or, as always, if they're personal in nature, send them to me through the Canvas inbox. Good luck, and have a great week.